everyone. Welcome to Foundational Accounting Demo Day. Today's event is going to feature tools that help with the essential functions of running a business, such as accounts receivable and bookkeeping, as well as others. My name is Kristen Wells, and I'm the Senior Director of Business Development and Events at the Massachusetts Society of CPAs. I'm really excited because there are 9 other state societies co-hosting this event with us. So special thanks to the Colorado Society, Illinois, Maryland, Minnesota, Montana, Nebraska, New Jersey, New York, and Washington. Thank you so much to all of you for your help. Now, just some quick housekeeping notes. Each demo will be about 20 minutes with 10 minutes for questions, and then there's 15 minutes for a break in between each vendor. To join a demo, just click on the tile of that company in the lobby and then hit the red Join Session button to go into the demo. You can use the chat feature on the right side of your screen to interact with other attendees, or you can put your questions there for the vendors and they'll address those at the end. After each demo, there'll be a quick poll that shows up on your screen. Please take a minute to respond to that. By responding, it does not mean that your contact information will automatically be shared, but it really helps give us and the vendors some really important feedback. So please fill out that polling question. If you run into any technical issues, there is a chat widget at the bottom of the page, and that'll connect you directly with the Matchbox team to help you out. The recordings from today will be live on this platform by the end of the day tomorrow, and they'll be live until the end of January. So you can reference them by using the same link you used this morning to log into the Matchbox platform. Now, to get everyone warmed up a bit, we're going to launch a quick polling question. So I'll give you just a second to answer that. You should see that up on your screen now. When are you looking to implement new accounting tools in your organization? All right. Let people finish answering that. Perfect. Well, thank you again for being with us. And with that, I will turn it over to SoftLedger for our first demo of the day.
Thanks, Kristen. Hi, everyone. I'm Ben Taylor with SoftLedger. I'm the CEO and co-founder here. We've been around for a little over 10 years, born out of frustration with existing accounting platforms. I'm a CPA, that's my background. And basically launched the company to provide a better general ledger for companies that have outgrown QuickBooks or other bookkeeping systems. And the next step up is overkill, like a big mid-market ERP. So we sit right there in the middle and provide, our mission is really to provide better software for accountants to more effectively do their job and provide financial data to their organizations so they can make better strategic decisions. So I will go ahead and get started. We have Chrissy O'Hara on as well, our CFO. And I'll, as we go through, I'll start with our demo. I'm gonna hit on a few key items, and then toward the end, we'll be monitoring for questions, and as those come up, we'll try to hit those all at the end. So please feel free to put some questions as we go into the chat. I know it's a bit tough to do these interactive when it's one of these, but yeah, please put those in the chat, and we'll get to those at the end. Okay, great. So I'll start off by orienting us a bit. So what we're looking at right now is the application with on the left-hand side here is our main navigation. We're into reports, which is our finance and accounting reports section. So looking at a balance sheet, multi-entity balance sheet here. And then on the left-hand side here, going down, we have analytics, which is more like management reporting. this is where you can kind of slice and dice the data in different ways, more like a business intelligence tool. And then we have financial, which is chart of account setup. This is where you set up your general ledger chart of accounts, your locations, which are synonymous with business entities in the system. And then accounts is more like kind of general ledger chart of accounts. And then we have a bunch of general ledger dimensions as well. You book journal entries here, create budgets, that sort of thing, and can bulk import journal entries. Accounts receivables next. This is where customer record management and invoicing lives. Accounts payable next. Vendor record management, vendor payables. Cash management is where you link bank accounts, where you reconcile bank accounts and apply payments to bills and invoices. We have a full purchase order management, sales order management, and inventory management module as well. Jumping back up to the top here. So we're looking at, so I'll kind of describe the reporting module in a little bit more detail, and then I'm going to walk through some new features, talking about cash management and the different ways we have of coding transactions in the system. That includes some AI, of course. We're using AI as part of that, but there's some other categorization features that are all around, like getting your bank and credit card transactions coded really quickly and easily. And then we have an AP inbox that automatically ingests your vendor invoices and brings them into our accounts payable module. And then there's an intercompany transaction that I'm going to walk through. But again, please feel free to answer throw any questions out there, and we can go through anything that we're not going to we haven't hit toward the end. So just to start off, give us a high level overview of reporting. We're looking at a multi-entity balance sheet here. If I pull this up, you can see we're looking at the top co in this organization. So at Abacus holding company level, you can see all the immediate children of Abacus on a standalone basis, any intercompany eliminations, and then the consolidated balance as well. And as you leaf through these entities, it updates the context each time. And this is really quick and easy to leaf through these, see just that entity standalone, together as needed, and then we handle foreign currencies as well. So this example over here, we have a USD reporting entity that has two subsidiaries in different currencies. So we can remeasure and translate all the way up the chain. And then each of these reports is configurable. So you can come in and edit the layout, move these around, map at different levels. So this is other assets. For instance, you could come in here and decide that you want to map at a lower level, at a subtype, or at the underlying account level. So just very, very easy to configure these yourself. This is made to be reporting and throughout the product is functionality that you should be able to use yourself, configure yourself as needed. We want to make it really easy for you to have access to what you need. And then throughout, if you see this little question mark in the top right, anywhere you see that, you can click on it and get to our user guide, which kind of lays this all out in more detail. Okay, first up for the examples I want to talk through is the bank categorization, bank and credit card categorization. So I'm going to jump down to cash management, start off by looking at bank accounts. Here, we're able to, if you click add bank account up in the top left, you can either connect with Plaid, which if you go through this process, hit connect, and this will bring up the ability to link one of your financial institutions. Once you do that, it'll prompt you to authenticate with the financial institution, and then it'll everything under those credentials, all the accounts under those credentials, you'll have the option to link to a general ledger account in the system, and then that will automatically bring in those transactions. If your bank is not supported, we have the option to do what we call a custom bank feed as well. So you can bring in other financial institutions, any other type of account into the system. And the only difference with this really is that it's an upload via CSV or Excel versus the Plaid option is an automatic integration. In either case, what you get is the option is the functionality to, I'm going to go to bank transactions and pull up an example here. You get the option to book your bank transactions in bulk. I'm just choosing some more wider date range here. Okay, so there's a number of ways to get your bank transactions into the system. It's coded with journal entries. So the first thing is we have these bulk actions throughout, so you can always click whichever transactions you want to record, and you can create journal entries in bulk from them. So if I went in and I wanted to put a certain expense account or other accounts over here, I could do that directly from this feed. Code vendors, other dimensions, franchise, for instance, as a custom general ledger dimension. You can assign all this directly in bulk, and you can filter. So you can save, you could say, I want to just filter on everything that has yellow in it for yellow cab. And if I decide I want to book these in bulk, I could just do that here, like I just walked through. Or you could save this as a new view and come back to this each time and just select that from the drop down over here. So there's a few different ways to deliberately book transactions in bulk in the system from the bank or credit card feed. And then we also have these AI suggestions. So if you have these turned on, we have these turned on for account here. You could have them turned on for account, vendor, customer if you want as well. These will just flow through automatically. And so if these look good, then you can actually go through and just and say, process them, and it will go through and process those suggestions. And then if there is a suggestion that you like, that you just want to make a rule to happen every time, you can do that as well. So bank rules work like this. This is a pretty simple one that says if the full description contains yellow, then code that to employee expenses, ground transportation, and yellow cab is the vendor. And I'll just pull this up so you can see. So it's this kind of logic to create the rules. So yeah, just a kind of a combination of a few different ways to get these transactions coded in the system that gives you complete control over them, and then still takes advantage of some automation like the AI suggestions and AI bank rule suggestions to have that be quick and easy when you need it to be. Oh, and I see that posting in bulk, you can keep the transaction date as well. And we have a transaction date versus a posted date, so that you can always have the accounting date separate from the underlying transaction date. It was kind of a key thing from the get-go, is you can always fix things in a subsequent period that are related to a prior period. And then this is all tracked via audit logs as well. So we even have a created and updated date for each transaction, so you can see exactly what happened, who did it, when that happened as well. Oh, and we support everything that's covered under Plaid. So very strong coverage in the United States, and then internationally not quite as strong, but that's something we serve customers all over the world, and they take advantage of our custom bank uploads, which we've really prioritized making the bulk imports via CSV and Excel. So when it's XLSX format, it just makes it easier for things like dates, and you can use formulas on the uploads. And so yeah, that's good questions. Great. Okay, and then last but not least, this is all kind of, as you're coding the transactions in here, you're starting the reconciliation. So if we go over to here and we can pull up a bank reconciliation, this is where you'd finish it. You'd have all these check marks would come through from the bank feed that we were just on, and then you'd have anything else that is booked to that account, including prior period transactions that weren't reconciled yet. When I say transactions, journal entries that weren't reconciled yet. Any of those that hit the account that haven't been addressed would show up here as well. So this really becomes your reconciliation document that you can lock down and have as evidence that the account was reconciled each month. And you see it's linked to the relevant account here too. Great. Okay, so that was that was the main thing I wanted to talk through on bank transactions. If there's any questions, please feel free to throw those in the chat. We can come back to those later. The other pieces here are when you receive cash against invoices, that goes through here. A cash receipt will come in. You can auto create that from the bank feed as well. And then if you want to pay bills from the system, this will go through and automatically mark your accounts payable bills as paid. And there's a couple steps there. You can do it in batch. There's some control steps there. And that's a good segue into the next one I wanted to hit, which was we have an AP inbox now that you can send. You can have your vendors send their emails with their bills to. Your clients vendors can send an email with the bill in it, and this will take that email, strip the attachment, attach it into our system, and start to create the bill. So it kind of end-to-end do that automation of capturing the vendor invoice, coding it, having it all queued up and approved for payment directly in the system. Okay, so here we have, this is what we call the AP inbox. When you set, actually, I'm going to start one step further. So when you set this up initially, go down to System Settings. I'll scroll to the bottom here. I've set up this email address that's demo@ap@softledger.com. And you could create whatever, you can make this whatever you want it to be. When it goes there, it will automatically go to the next step, which is this AP inbox. And here we have a few examples. And it just kind of works like this. You have this preview where you can view the invoice, you can confirm the coding. You can hide this if you want to as well. I think I have one example in here I'll skip through. Okay, so we have an example invoice here where I'm going to go, okay, I want to process this one. Okay, it's going to outside services. That's fine for this one. It copied in some details from the invoice. It attached the invoice as well. And you can review just to confirm everything looks right on here. And then create the bill. Oh. Just make sure the dates are updated here. And then we can create a bill from here, and then that's filtered. I filtered out any bills that are created. Then we go to the bill summary screen, and here is the accounts payable bill ready to go. And so this is when you go through those, it becomes like a task list of different invoice items to go through. You can reject the ones that are duplicates or irrelevant, and just quickly go through to get them into the system. So just a recent feature that we're pretty excited about is kind of starts captures the vendor payable process a bit upstream from where we had it prior, and this kind of augments what we have already, which is this is our accounts payable summary. Summary report, which shows all bills at the invoice level or at the bill level. We refer to bills as for AP invoices, and then invoices are AR invoices, just so you're familiar with the terminology. And here, this is now in created status, which is the draft status that can be edited, updated, deleted. And then once it's approved, then that's when it's posted and it would need to be voided to be undone. And so everything in the system kind of works like that. again, we have these filters and other functionality that's kind of throughout in any of the fields that look any of the tables that look like this as well. Okay, great. So, okay, no more questions on this. Okay, yeah, let me know if there's anything else on AP or any of the other pieces we haven't hit yet. I'm going to go through one more example now, which is an intercompany transaction. So go here and show, we're going to look at I'm going to show you this income statement, multi-entity income statement. I'm going to show that it's zeroed out for October. So we have this kind of, the starting point is this is 0, and then I'm going to book an intercompany transaction just so you can see how we can book the entry in one entity. It automatically hits another entity and eliminates all in consolidation, and how quick it is to do that. So I'm going to go over to financial, to journals. This is where you book journal entries. This is the draft journal screen. You can bulk import them as well. You can do all of this, everything we talked about via API, or depending on which integration you're using, there's automated ways to do this as well, and including the bank feed that we would just walk through. But let's say we're just going to click here to create a journal entry. All right, so I'll make this intercompany example for CPA Demo Day. And for this, we'll go between these two companies. And this is going to be moving an expense between these two companies. Or moving, we're going to do expense. It's expense on one side and it's revenue on the other. That's right. So in this case, where Abacus has revenue that they're recording, which is a transaction with TaylorCo that is on the TaylorCo side, which is TaylorCo is the subsidiary of Abacus, is an expense to them. And so we're going to book this, and we're going to eliminate them both in consolidation as well. So you can just check this box to eliminate them. And that's it. When I click the submit button here, it's going to create an entry in Abacus, entry in TaylorCo, and it's going to eliminate both of those immediately. So and I need to give it an amount. That's important here. Okay, so we'll make this $1,500. Okay. And so then when I go back up to this report, multi-entity income statement, and we're just going to run this for October. Again, just for this example, just so you can see this jump out. And so here now is that same income statement. We have the revenue at Abacus, expense at TaylorCo, and then we have these both eliminated in consolidation. So usually that's, and you can see this all roll down at the bottom as well. So usually that's, you do it in one entity, you have to remember to do it in the other, and then separately there's a process to run to consolidate. In SoftLedger, it all happens immediately. And so this is just, for multi-entity organizations in particular, makes it really easy to manage these multiple entities in a way that, in other systems is a disjointed process. You have to kind of bring everything together separately. And this just really makes it easier to manage those types of those organizations. Okay, so we have one more question. Import customer. Oh yeah. So we have both an automated import tool from QBO currently. That's like a wizard that walks through everything. So you could, if it's QBO, you can do everything via that process automatically. And then we also have the ability to upload any what we call dimensions. So any list data. List data is accounts, customers, vendors. Any of this you can upload via our bulk uploads. And yeah, so this is all designed to be self-service if you want to just do that yourself. And again, there's, you can search through our user guide, softledger.com/support, and see all this if you're interested. But during our onboarding process, we always walk through that side by side as well if you need us to help alongside. But it's you can technically pick this up and upload all the dimensions yourself and get started right away. And then AP journal entries, yeah, you have full control over. Oh, that's okay. Last question. It was can you adjust AP or AR journal entries to adjust GL balances? Thanks for asking that. It's kind of a key difference with the system too. Is we are very journal entry focused. So I like to say this is my favorite report in the system is the journal lines report. This is every journal entry with every single journal line and all of the context that goes with it. And I like to pull this up because it shows just like this is, if you had one report in the system, this is the one. You could use this to slice and dice your data in any way that you want. We obviously have robust reporting capabilities in the system that I walk through. There's analytics as well, which if we have time, we can get to, but that's it. Between the two of those, you should be able to do everything in the system. But if you just want to export it to Excel, you can do that too. And you could export this and do everything you need to directly from this report. And I bring that up because that when you look at things like the ledger, these come from every journal entry, and automatically if you're booking an AP invoice or AP bill or an AR invoice, the ledger will be assigned here, so you know that it came from there. But you can always adjust AP or AR balances separately, and you can use the context that comes with the journal entries alongside that, so that you can report on it how you want as well. So it's not like it's everything's driven off of journal entries, I guess is a good way to put it. And then I do, just because I mentioned analytics, I do want to just bring this up real quick. It's just, this is, so we talked about reports that everything finance and accounting wise, like you should be able to capture in our finance, in our reports module. But then we, in addition, have analytics, which is this, it's like a Power BI or a Tableau type tool that is embedded in the product, and you can use it to create different visualizations like this. You can also use it for creating like dynamic pivot tables. It kind of works like, I'm gonna pull this up, this type of tool. So you can use this to create really any type of report. It's very customizable. You can even add custom expressions in here to really code in what you want. So between the two of these, you should really be able to get any type of reporting you want directly in the system. Okay. All right. So we have a few more minutes. It doesn't look like we have any more questions that haven't been answered, but yeah, again, please feel free to throw those in there. I'll just kind of go through the general ledger dimensions in a little bit more detail because we hadn't hit on that yet. So to that end, too, when we're talking about everything being journal entry focused, I want to just go down here and show the general ledger dimensions. And these are like it's context you can bring in with each general ledger, with each journal entry, and then these also are applied to invoices and bills, which drive journal entries as well, and then purchase orders and sales orders too. If you count customers and vendors, we have 10 general ledger dimensions, and so there's a lot of that gives you a lot more capabilities to code transactions, provide context with transactions that you can use for reporting upstream. You don't have to bury everything in classes and or locations and kind of, this just gives you more room to run. Like I was actually just speaking with somebody this morning that has a lot of franchise clients. And so I updated this on the fly to be franchises, so they could code their franchises as not separate entities, but just have that as a tag. And yes, we support single entity companies as well. So this is, we support multi-entity because that's a lot of the reason why companies outgrow their bookkeeping platforms. And we've come up with a really slick, easy way to do that. So that's why a lot of our customers have multiple entities. But this is really a system designed for accounting users that want more control over their company's books and records, and think in terms of journal entries. And like, this is, we like to say that, for an accounting user, this is easier to use than a QuickBooks, because it doesn't dumb down some of the data, some of the concepts that, or try to come up with their own way of categorizing them. And so what we found is that our customers pick this up really quickly and easily, especially if they're accountants or bookkeepers. And then we have the ability to bulk import journal entries from any source, and this is via CSV or Excel. And so things like payroll are journal entry imports. That's what all of our customers are doing. It's usually like 2 journal entries a pay period, and that process works really well. And it so that's really a catch-all for anything that doesn't live in the system. Is I'll click on this again to show you this. So if you want to look at how the journal entry process works, you can go to this. This is you don't need a user login to see this. You can look at what the template looks like, look what the fields are. Again, we use Excel, not just CSV, and so it allows you to use formulas as part of the upload. It's just kind of a step saver there. Yeah, so you can use any payroll provider. Okay, I'll give you guys a minute to respond to the poll. And then any other last burning questions, please pop those in the chat. I'm trying to think of if no one does that, the best closing note. So we hadn't hit on inventory, and we're not going to have time to go through it, but we have a full featured inventory accounting system in here. We have full sales order management, purchasing as well. So it's a really robust system. We've been around for 10.5 years now. And so a lot of this has been built out to be pretty robust. We have I don't have it turned on here, but a digital assets module as well, if your companies have any crypto activity. And yeah, and again, we didn't talk a lot about the API, but if you really want to automate fully, the processes for your clients, this is fully programmable via API. And so you have this next level of automation capabilities that really isn't present in legacy systems.
Great. Thank you so much, Ben and the Soft Ledger team. We'll just give it another minute or two to see if any other questions pop up. But the next demo will start in about 15 minutes. So you'll go back out to the lobby and then click the Zoho logo to enter that demo.
Okay. Any questions? I'll just pop my my email address into the chat. Please feel free to follow up. And yeah, thanks for listening.